Hi, good morning, everybody. Carl Forehand here from Songbird, and welcome to day 2 of Jagfest 2024. So glad to have you with us. Thanks for joining online. Thank you again to everyone who either attended in person or is supporting us virtually. You're helping make this a great event, and we really appreciate the support. It's just fun for me personally to see other like-minded retro fans that love Jaguar, love Lynx, love Gamecom, love Nuon, all these wonderful systems from many years ago. So I've got a few things I'm going to show you here this morning before we get everybody here and back going for the event today. But I thought you might like to see a few more pieces from my collection. So the first one I'm going to pop up here. Lynx fans may know about this one. This is Zaku for the Lynx. This was a kind of a action platformer game that was released a number of years ago. Very popular, very hard to find now. This is actually one that's still sealed in the package that I got a number of years ago when it was in more general production. So that's Zaku for the Atari Lynx. Another item I got here, I'll do a little unwrapping for you. This is one I've had for quite a few years as well. I'm sure at least 20, 25 years. I have an Atari Jaguar cat box. So this is the elusive hardware add-on that goes in the back. It's got all the fancy ports. It's in a nice like brushed aluminum case. You can see it's got jacks there for video out, S-video, networking, all kinds of cool stuff. And it plugs into the back port of your Jaguar, just like that. Let's see what else we got here today. Oh, this is a recent addition to my collection. I've got a number of Atari Lynxes, of course, as you might expect. But this one actually has a modded screen and a VGA out. Now the problem is the modded screen's working okay. It's a McWill screen if you're curious about that. But the VGA port has not worked yet. So we've tried it on one monitor, didn't work. We're going to try again on a different one today with a different cable, see if we get any more success. So hoping for success on that one. We'll see what happens. Here we've got a copy of Another World for the Jaguar. This is something, again, that I added to my collection a number of years ago when it was released. And a very cool game. I used to play this game actually on the PC back in the probably early 90s. Loved it then. It's still an excellent game and very well done for the Jaguar. And last but not least, and actually I got another item too after this. So I got 2 more items. So here's one that definitely Jaguar fans will appreciate. This is a sealed mint copy of Battlesphere Gold. So I acquired this as just a fellow fan, a fellow collector. You know, back again when it was released probably 20 plus years ago. I've never actually opened this. There's just maybe a little tiny split there on the top of the shrink wrap, but it's never been opened. I did get the original Battlesphere as well, and I did open that back when I got it and played it. Definitely enjoyed it. It's a fun game. I actually got to help play test Battlesphere back before it was released, so that was kind of a fun era. And congrats to these guys, Scott and Doug and Stephanie, that were able to release this game for Jaguar fans so many years ago. Really appreciate that. And then the last item I have to show right now is a developer Jaguar console. So this is what they would call a stubulator Jaguar. I actually used this in years past. I haven't used it recently, but you can see it's got this little extra cable coming out of it. That's one obvious difference that you'll see on these. It actually has a different boot ROM, so it will play Jaguar cartridges, but it also will boot into developer mode. And this one, you can see the sticker there. It's actually property of Temporary Sanity Design, so it's property of Songbird Productions now. But I acquired this from the guys that did Temporary Sanity Designs. They're the ones who actually were working on way back when this 2600 emulator for the Jaguar, which is incomplete, but I have the rights and the source code and everything to it, virtual VCS for the Jaguar. So it's pretty cool that I was able to acquire their dev kit at the same time as I got the rights to that project. So there you have it. There's some cool, rare items that are going to be on display today to kick off our show for the second day of Jagfest. What are you looking forward to? What do you want to see? What kind of fun things do you think will happen here today? Love to hear your feedback in the comments or on Discord, or send me an email. And again, appreciate you so much. Thank you for being a supporter of this show and helping make it a fun event for Atari fans. Have a great day, and we'll get some more photos and videos for you in a few minutes. Good job, buddy. So when this is on, this is no longer live. syntax is the video format, but then you can kind of do whatever. Like you could do deluxe paint, or you could do TVA. There's different graphic formats you can do, but you can compress stuff if it wasn't already a compressed format. You run it through a compressor like LZJAG or anything really. It doesn't get into colors for it. I do a tiny bit of that in Protector SC, where like some of the graphics are actually RGB graphics, not 256 color, and so those are all compressed. So I have to decompress them into RAM to show them. But then the main game is 256 colors, so the assets are a lot smaller for that. Hey, welcome back. Hey. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah. And James will be back here again this morning. He was sitting on this table over here, those guys are, and he has a laptop connected to an Alpine. He got my Alpine running yesterday, so should be like a known good test.
Yeah.
How you doing, Chris? Hey, that was good stuff. Robot ship. That's how you use it.
Right. So this must be a 2 megabyte Alpine.
Oh, there's
Wait, I don't need keys, but I'm not that understand.
Yeah, there's no good. Oh, wow. Cool.
Die, buddy. Yep. Ah, you got it.
Yeah, so I think James has it set up where he has it working, he's trying to get it to work himself, where he's trying to get the tooling to work. So, like you could, and I do this back in the day on Alpha too, you can set breakpoints in 68K, but he's got it set up where like you do source level break debug and stepping basically on the GPU.
Yeah.
Call my sister Angie.
Oh, that's kind of cool, because he like pop open a C file that just says hello world, prints it on the screen for Jaguar, and
Are
it's
you
showing
doing
him
anything with her for her birthday or just?
trays, we
Well,
can step and step
the way
and
my
step.
family does it now,
Yeah,
because
command
there's so many
line.
birthdays.
And,
Whenever we get
that-
together for
that's
something
kinda
like
cool. It's
Father's Day,
C-source
then
code
it'll
for
be
Jaguar,
several
because I
birthdays we
don't
haven't
have
celebrated
like
in the
the simple
past yet.
Okay.
So like, then
We
I-
just combine.
Yes, yes.
So like maybe 4th of July-ish.
Yeah, something like that.
So this.
Yeah, because Father's Day was
Killed. It's your fault,
but then
dude.
Tyler, so it was Connor's, Braden's, my dad's, Caden's. Actually, we already did Angie's on Father's Day. Yeah, Angie's already done.
Okay.
The good and bad
It was on
assembly
Father's
is that
Day, so.
you can do a lot more in fewer instructions.
Oh.
By that is you have to understand like what every instruction is doing, and you can't just kind of hand wave.
And then they all have
Relax it.
grandkids.
You have to like type it all
And
out
then
for instructions. Like
The oldest granddaughter
hey, good
is
morning.
24 and she's
Obviously, you do like a divide or a
So there's
shift or
just-
something in one line.
But
it's
for
just done.
each
And you don't
grandkid,
care how many dozens of
kid,
instructions might
on
be
their
covered
birthday,
text.
they get to have a birthday dinner at our house.
Simply,
And
he's
she's
gotta
like,
do it
"Oh,
all.
you have a birthday dinner." And I was like,
You started it.
you can tell somebody else it's your turn for stuff.
Yeah. Or like,
For the links.
combine.
Right, and then I can pop that open here.
Come on, Tyler. Show us how it's done.
This is your birthday dinner.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and also I can get you
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And we say, what kind of dessert do you want? And then he's got a birthday item, and then,
desserts over there.
we usually have, so there's so many people, have to be 2 desserts anyway.
Stage in the upper corner too.
We'll,
How do I go left and right here? Come on.
know.
Oh, it's up and down. I have to go up and down.
Oh no!
I have to rotate the
Oh, that's cool.
joystick.
No!
Yes.
That seems like an oversight.
That's officially the biggest Microvaders.
Finally, something different. And if I simply overlay anytime I find you, yeah, give me text over here, come back here, and oh, shotgun. Oh, there's another shotgun. Off screen. This will get to a higher level. This is just, I think it's one of the coolest things, and nobody, it absolutely took me, I went through various work.
Oh, there I am.
I didn't just do
I can always repeat. When I died up there, when I
finally something different. And if I simply overlay anytime I find you, yeah, give me text over here, come back here, and oh, shotgun. Oh, there's another shotgun. Off screen.
There's no health bars, or how do we win?
hold on, I almost did a special thing. Hold on, what's this? Check that out. Oh.
Finally, something different. And if I simply overlay anytime I find you, yeah, give me text over here, come back here, and oh, shotgun. Oh, there's another shotgun. Off screen. this will get to a higher level. And this is just, I think it's one of the coolest things, and nobody, it absolutely told me, I included various works.
Oh, there I am. Always the team. When I died up there when I.
Anytime I find you, yeah, you can text over here.
yeah, this one takes the cake on all the variations of game that it's hard to. Yep.
It is a lot visual, but it's pretty cool.
We turned off the background to actually can be.
It got even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I turned the background off.
It's just like constant.
Melto vision. Yeah, Melto vision. I don't know who I did. Okay.
You die kind of like self.
I'm kind of like, can't see what's going on. Some of these webs are just like, I don't know what that thing is. I have a good here,
No, a power cable. You have to see. I don't know how to cable it makes it. So it's good. I mean, you could look at it and say, like, it's a slim profile, plug.
what am I doing? Really more shit like that.
It's pretty expensive.
But you can still sign
here a minute ago. She just ran to the store to buy some supplies.
Set up everywhere, huh?
Yeah, mainly video game systems. It's a lot of old Atari stuff from the 70s, 80s. Said, I think you mentioned in the interview that see, like this over here is this is my hobby business is called Songbird Productions. So this is all my work over here. All
This
stuff.
is all stuff you put together.
Yeah, I didn't like design all these games. I worked on some of them. A lot of times I license them from other hobby developers like me, because they don't have the manufacturing capability to actually make cartridges. So,
Fully developed. Or what you now hold the license for.
yeah. Like the cartridge.
Literally the same
For one system like this, it's more of a circuit board inside the plastic.
kind of crappy that they don't,
These cartridges are
So the ship is all over the country, all in one.
did you want to try it again, or was it ready to be the horrible noise going on?
There's a lot of the Atari
See, because like we don't have the other.
I saw lots of Germany, France, UK.
Is it strictly Atari now?
Yeah, everything I do.
So this is the Evercade I have incorporated here. You got something that's broken because of the rain bands.
I don't know if we're working together, what's going on here.
I think it's you guys.
So people are coming here today to see what's new,
Well, no, you're supposed to get those
to meet you probably.
Yeah, it's good to meet another Atari fans in person. Like a lot of this equipment is other people's equipment. I didn't bring all this. I brought a couple systems out here, but most of this is their all the stuff here to be able to set up and play. And
There's gonna be a competition.
we're doing like different high score competitions. Like that's what they're playing over here. Is a couple of timed games. So like people just take turns playing and then record their high score. And see you want to score.
Yeah, well, it's mostly.
So the super there, that kind of stuff. The other.
So I got Caden, my son, my other son Tyler is here, my brother Jake from Ohio, and then my other brother, he went with Alyssa. I don't know if he and his wife are here.
So the family's definitely into this.
They help a lot. They did a ton of work building games and doing all the setup here. And Alyssa's running, like, we have some food.
Alyssa runs the mail, right?
She does a lot of, the shipping. She's done just like in the last 2 months, she kind of took over the shipping stuff for me because I was spending like 2 hours a night, almost every night shipping packages.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't get any new stuff done if I'm always just shipping orders, and that's all I do because go work all day and then come home and ship a couple
we
hours.
get that, you know, for
And I'm
us,
like,
it's getting the parts, listing the parts, then you sell them, you gotta pack them and ship them.
And then you gotta keep your inventory up, so you gotta start over.
right.
We pack and ship every single morning.
I'm sure you do.
And it's anywhere from a half hour to,
The great
winter
thing
time,
and the
it
white
takes
thing
6 hours. Pack and ship.
basically,
Which it's a good and a bad problem.
Yeah,
right? 'Cause it's
absolutely.
good because that means you're selling stuff. But the bad part is you gotta actually pack it all.
Oh, you gotta help.
So you're selling that stuff and it's like, hey, we gotta get some more stuff listed or we're not gonna sell anymore.
Right. Right.
So you gotta get the stuff, get it tested, get it listed. And you gotta build it and package it.
Yeah, because these are mostly. I mean, it's not 100% built by hand, but like because like the circuit boards in here, and it's kind of hard to see. There's a few different chips on there. Those I get assembled because I don't.
But you designed it?
Not that I don't design the boards myself.
Okay.
It's kind of like a sort of an open source design. I mean, it's like
But you're
public
programming.
design. Goes in here.
Is the code the programming or is that
Yeah.
saying it wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so you design the code, and then you put that code and programming in there.
Right. So some of them are designed by other developers, other people who know software, and they create the games to send me the games to put on the cartridge. Sometimes I write the code. But either way, I'm doing the manufacturing, so I have to physically, I'm the one who physically programs, like I transfer the file basically. So they send me a game file, I transfer it onto here, that's the manufacturing.
And you're purchasing this from a factory, someone who's making it, and then you put that on.
Yeah, like so I send them, like I'll send parts over to the circuit board. I'll say I want to get this
Really
board.
good.
I'll say I want to get this board designed, these chips used in these locations, diagram, all work.
basically,
And they just send me, and I'll buy 1,000 blank cartridges, and 1,000 cartridges are about like 20 cartridges. So then 1,000 cartridges make you blank, not any shells, a circuit board. So then I get raw circuit board. I have to put actual game code on it when I get it,
telling your, telling the computer to put it over there.
And then once it's done, I screw it into the shell.
Where do you get the shell? That's another
From
thing
other
you
people that
got.
yeah, right. So I do the design, the
What
labels,
about the boxes?
Yeah, I do. I don't do the artwork, but I do a lot of the layout, and I also do other folks for the layout too.
So you're having somebody's printing those boxes up and they're coming
Yeah,
in and
actually,
loading it.
yeah.
That's a hell of a
I'm marking up my bucket list, all it means I've never had the ability to display.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, the fans that I make these for are very much physical collectors. They want to have not just a game they can play on their phone, where even though that's fun too, but they want to have something physical they can put on a shelf and store next to all their other games in their collection. So they really appreciate that. You know, these games have nice glossy finished boxes. This up here, this one's black and white. A lot of the remaining are color. Color's not that much more expensive than black and white. But they like that. Because you go by a game in the store right now for like Xbox or Nintendo, so they don't even print manuals anymore. You get a disc, and that's it, right? Because for only mixed manuals. Back in the old days, every game you had manuals. So the collectors
like having a manual.
It's more authentic.
You're gonna see a lot of competition.
Carl, can I grab one of the Microvaders competition cards?
Yeah. What's that?
How many customers around the world do you think you have?
A few hundred. And they don't buy everything. Right? For me, a successful release is at least 100 copies of one game. That's, I consider that successful. Really successful is like you get 250 to 300 copies. That's like really upper limit of what I can ship in a couple of years. Like the demand that's there over the first couple of years.
And what are you selling the games for?
The smaller link cartridges tend to go for $50 to $70 each, and these go for $70 to $100 each.
Yeah.
Just gotta learn how to program and make games and I'll publish them. And
Way above our head. Way above our head. Most you could teach me is plug it in there, Rick, and then hit these buttons for change.
well, right, and that's where
I could probably figure that out.
my kids have helped with some of that, and Alyssa keeps telling me, you should just tell me how to do it, and you tell her how to do it. And I could write a little procedure of like, okay, plug this device in here, you tell it, here's where you find the files on the computer, here's the command you use to send the file over. Because a lot of it is just lather, rinse, repeat. There's no science there that I'm doing.
The science is really in the code.
Yeah, writing the games themselves, that's the hard part. Like, you have to understand how the hardware works, and you have to know how to design games, and like how to add features, and like, when does this thing bounce or jump or fire or whatever. That's
That's the magic in computers that people like us just don't even get.
right.
They don't even get how.
There's layers upon layers. You know, like you boot up Windows or an iPad or whatever, and it's got like the low level stuff running, and then it's like the applications that you've installed, and then the application might talk to the internet somewhere and grab, you know, your video you want to watch or whatever. There's so much going on.
So, I don't know. It's like the one that get to a certain point, you have to figure out the secret to go.
Right.
So do you have to do all that stuff? Do it when you design?
In the design, it depends on the kind of game. And like some games are like, you probably know Tetris.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a simple game, right? Just following blocks, and there's not a lot of secrets or things to discover there. Right, that's a simple version, a simple example of a game. But other games are, you know, more like
But I mean,
fantasy adventures or whatever.
So you have to make all the secrets and all
Yeah, as the coder,
doors and all
He
that.
does the whole game. He's doing
right,
every bit of it.
designing all the features. So if there's a character to talk to, if there's a hidden chest somewhere.
I mean,
Well, it depends on the type of game. Because again, like a Tetris game, it's much simpler, and that you could probably design in a few weeks. To do like a complicated, you know, mystery adventure game, it can take a year more part-time work.
I don't have
Like, on that vertical screen over there, he's playing a game that I'm working on right now. Even though it's on the big TV, it's actually for this little handheld system here called the Lynx. So it's intended for the small system, but he's got an adapter over there that lets him play the small games on a big TV.
That's an interesting screen he's got.
He just flipped the
I've never seen a
TV.
vertical like
He
that.
just flipped the TV vertical. It's a regular TV, but switch it to vertical and change his controller to work with it.
Simple things for these guys.
There's Alyssa. And my brother.
So you're gonna do a little talk here in a little while?
I think that's the theory. Yeah, I'm gonna just talk to everybody about kind of the history of how I got started 25 years ago.
I'm interested in
Working
hearing.
on one of my first games.
Oh, here, all the way the other way. I'm like, oh, I gotta hurry up and get back.
Hey, thank you for the invitation. I sure appreciate it. Very nice of you.
We're gonna have some,
So, yes, showed you his fancy stuff.
Yeah.
That's the Lynx game. And we have the boxes, they have this insert thing that are attached, so you hold them a certain way to get it down. And this will take a little bit of maneuvering. Yeah, I try to do all of it except for the eBay orders, which are a lot fewer. Most of them, like he gets one eBay order every week or so. Then these are the Jaguar games. So these have this box that has to get filled up. And then this cartridge is screwed under there.
Oh, okay, I was like,
Chip in, and then we can program for the cartridge. Pop it in, screw it together, stick a sticker on it. Fold this box up. Yeah, because he gets these boxes printed at Johnson Printing in town. That's the boxes.
Not even to mention board with
Yeah, because he has to order those too. So. Yeah. The new system. There's the Evergreen stuff over here. So this is third-party stuff that we started selling because it only came out a few years ago. So it's like this handheld system that plays all the old games, and they have collections of games on every cartridge, and these are only like $20 tonight.
Is that what he's playing right there?
No, that's the Lynx. That's the one with the little cartridge inside. Yeah, so this is. Yeah, so some of them, Carl, like, some of them he's been able to sell some games and put on here, so then he gets some royalties for every cart that the company sells, but then he also sells the products. So that's like every week we're getting more boxes of this stuff. Like, where are we storing all of this now? Anyway, and then these are even smaller little handhelds to play those same cartridges. So there's different versions. I have no idea what the difference is, but there's potato version.
Alyssa, did you set a Diet Coke down over here?
I just set the empty can there for a second, but not the other one. I was gonna throw it, the squished one I was gonna throw away. Anyway, and then this museum piece.
So you guys are bringing this third-party stuff in and selling it?
Yeah, because it's only for sale in the U.S. on like Amazon. I think is the only other store that has it. And then Carl gets it from Canada, but it gets manufactured in China. So buys it from a store in Canada.
So is this like an expansion that you did here to move into this stuff?
Yeah. Once this, because this is kind of new. Like I said, it only came out a few years ago.
What other stuff would you move into from what you're doing?
I don't know. Because this is still all retro, you know? And yeah, I mean, there could be something else. But it's not my field. Knowledge, I don't know. But Carl had this sign hand painted like years and years ago. Yeah, the purple one. And then he changed his logo to this black and white logo. Yeah, Songbird. Okay, there's a live stream that's happening for people online that wanted to watch the event, and they take tickets for it too. So Carl talks to the camera. Figure out how to do that live stream.
So two of your sons are here, and Carl's brothers are here.
Yep, and then last night Connor was here also. Two of Carl's brothers are here.
Yeah. One of them was sitting there. Got him standing?
Yep, standing there, and then Pat is with the TV. Oh, there he is over by the TV.
for the microphone, you could actually play stuff to the PAs.
Super high quality, $50 TV.
But yeah, we don't have enough power strips.
Since they were cheap, I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and buy another TV.
Is there something? Is there another power behind that? Maybe.
Or two TVs. Yeah, CRTs. That you probably have for many, many years. So, kind of. Ironically, what happens is, it's like all the modern TVs are digital, right? So you're getting like a pixel perfect or like a very crisp picture. But the thing is, the old video games actually relied on the blending of a CRT. So like we had like I don't know if you example, you had like a dark blue next to a light blue, and you interleave the colors, it would like look like a medium shade of blue. And so they could kind of fake colors out on a CRT. And now when you play them on a modern TV, you just get that jarring pixels by each other. So it can actually look better, ironically, than the old TVs.
Yeah. So that one is offered that we can put down, so you can see the difference.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, that one's designed for a little tiny handheld screen, so this is very low resolution game, and it's meant for this size, and it's been blown over to that size. But that's one I coded myself, so I designed that game. I actually wrote the music for it and everything.
Just today.
Just today. Yeah.
Yeah, it started last night, 4 to
I saw it.
not everybody's back yesterday. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I saw the highlights.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Like this thing back in the day, it's part of my collection. This was actually, you could get these at Blockbuster Radio, these were rent this Jaguar system out. Just like you could rent other, Nintendo's and these VHS tapes back in the day. But anyway, I did not get this locally at a Blockbuster, but at some point they of course closed out stuff and got rid of things. And somebody bought this in the collection, and I bought it from them like a week or so ago. But not many people have a black case like this. It's burnt on it.
No, I don't play any video games.
There's no screen. There's no
Yeah, I can play Pac-Man or Tetris, but
or his thing later after lunch.
I don't play it all. Yeah.
Well, you should set up the TV with your logo.
My phone right here, the two of you can see.
He's running OBS on here.
Oh, so you're just filtering out the background?
Different slides that you can put, like, say, coming soon, and next time it starts.
This is not very old. No, this is kind of old. Yeah, that's why retro is huge now.
Yeah, this stuff has become a lot more popular for the last 5 years compared to like the previous 20 years. Like 2 scenes. Yeah. Like 76, 75 maybe. This guy, I know. I thought about buying one of those. Honestly, when it came out, I was like, it's $3,000. Like, that would be so fun to have.
So are we able to pay for these right now?
Yeah.
And that part is, you had probably like both times I visited there.
Frog Feast? I just bought this stuff, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm amazed at all the games here that I didn't know existed.
Yeah. So the guy that made that game also made this game called Unnamed.
What's that?
It's another kind of a text adventure, but in this one you actually have a little avatar that you move around on the screen, so you can do the move, take, look, use kind of stuff. This one's like a pure text adventure with some background graphics. So it's a very cool kind of haunted forest one. This one's a little more interactive, where you actually have a character that you move on the screen.
What do these guys go for?
No, you go ahead and look at it.
I didn't price everything individually just because
I was just trying to look for the price on the controllers.
those are 125.
Okay. So are these original controllers?
They're aftermarket.
Okay.
Where are we? One more page. They are 60 and 70.
I kind of like the vibe of this one, but if you had to recommend one, which would you?
This is the better game.
Okay.
They're both mysteries. They're both like kind of you wake up in an unknown space and you got to figure out why am I here and what do I do.
Yeah.
This one just is. This is a more traditional game. This one is more of a text puzzle.
You know what? I kind of like
The look of it.
text aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So what are these here then?
So this is a new game that we just released yesterday at here at the show. It's a Star Street Jagfest edition, so it's 100 copies. That's all we're doing right now. It's actually played on both screens over there under that Jaguar and Lynx banner. That's what they're playing over there. So we're also doing a high score competition on it. So there's a 3-minute time mode, and people can record their high score for the day. And then whoever wins the high score will get a free, a different T-shirt than this, but it's a Jagfest T-shirt.
How much are they?
Those are $60. And it's kind of an asteroids game with power-ups and boss fights and stuff like that.
I'm gonna take one of those.
Okay.
Well, he's got a new one set up over there. If you guys want the Tempest.
Yeah, that's Tempest 3000.
That's that thing you were saying, huh?
Yeah, we just
I do
reprinted
want this.
Tempest 3000.
Get yourself a new one machine, right?
What is this here?
So that's a skunk board for the Jaguar. It's a small, like smaller than this. It's like a half-size cartridge, but it's a developer cartridge for the Jaguar. So even if you're not a programmer, you can load 1 or 2 game ROMs on it at a time and play them on any Jaguar.
Oh.
And it just connects USB to a PC.
Okay. So you can download them off a computer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy to use. Like, I mean, it's literally one command. You just type in one command, and it sends the file over to the Jaguar, and then you can play it.
That's kind of cool.
And the guy, he didn't design the original board, but the guy that manufactured these for me is actually here too. He's here he is. I think he's in the corner over there. And then we just released this Towers 2 Enhanced last year. I'm sure you saw that probably online.
I just bought this one for me like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And Battle Mode.
Oh, nice.
I wish I had a Jag CD. I don't suppose you're selling systems here.
No. And if I had a Jag CD system to sell, it'd be probably pretty spendy.
Can't you get like a cart to put the ROMs on that can do the CD games too?
Yes, I think it has limited CD support, but I don't think it's all fully debugged yet. You ready to go?
What is that? Is this an RPG?
Kind of looks like it, yeah.
I think I like those kind of games.
You have to learn to like those kind of games.
Sorry, I'm helping beta test.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got puzzles and shit, so I'll get pissed.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's Impulse.
The rest of this, yeah.
You getting this one then? Or?
I think I am.
Yeah, Kings of Eden.
Still got to take my money.
Kid and try to piece of the same one.
No wonder they love it.
So which ones do you have right now?
Well, this one here, he said was $60. Look up this one here.
Resurgence CD, $25.
I just had.
No, that is Resurgence CD.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Protector Elite.
It's all about the control tower of the airport. They either let them come down and do it or they don't do it.
Yes, I was just gonna say, like in Top Gun, where he's like requesting a flyby wherever, and then
The Machine Shed arcade. James, the guy that owns it, he's really nice.
Somebody, right?
Yeah, he did the stream after my.
I know Worms is good, Josh.
I can't believe how good the games look with the
This is a good fun game. I mean, let's see if it's two-player.
I'm not sure if the game drive and everything. Oh, nice. Yeah, it just looks amazing.
It's cheaper than.
No, I think.
Let's see. Teams take turns to bomb the enemy.
How about time?
Turning Soldier 2 Glassmaster CD.
No, because I'm actually on the slide for this one. Okay.
Turning Soldier 2 Glassmaster CD.
Where do you see it here? I want these for sure. What? I wonder if that's what they got.
What are you looking for?
Turning Soldier 2 Glassmaster CD.
I do have it, but it's at home.
Do ya?
Yeah, there's only 5 of those in the world. It's actually a blank. It looks blank, like a blank disc would look, but it's actual factory-made disc. It's not a DVD-R or a CD-R.
Oh. So what is the difference between this one and that one he was asking?
It's pretty big. I actually have a little poster up there that talks about it from last
Okay.
year. But
Is this? See, I'm not really an RPG player,
Yeah.
so is it kind of hard?
it's definitely on the harder side. The original one is very hard, very high difficulty. The enhanced one is a little bit lower difficulty, but still hard.
Okay.
But it's like in the original game, you could kill an NPC and not know that he had a valuable item for you to give you. He would do some task for him. And so since you would kill him, you could actually get stuck in the game and not be able to progress. And it wouldn't tell you that you were stuck. It would just let you do it, and then, oh well.
Right.
So this one, actually, you can't kill NPCs until you're done trading with them, or until they've told you some message or where they need to. There's a damage system in place now, so you can. I mean, there was always a damage system, but now you actually see health bars over enemies. So you can tell, is my weapon working or not, and how effective is it.
Okay.
So a lot of quality of life enhancements like that, better textures, higher resolution graphics.
It looks like it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Rick and Mona are wondering about your top.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be at 11.
I know. So are other people.
Okay.
All right. If you guys are okay waiting a few minutes, I'm going to do a little talk about some of my Jaguar games and kind of how Songbird got started.
Yep,
Like a
that's-
15-minute
I
thing.
want to buy all these.
Right.
Should I put these?
You just want me to set it aside?
Sure.
I'll just set it
Yep.
in
Okay.
a chair back here. All right.
Yeah, but are there other games specifically?
All right. Let's go for it. Hey everybody online, welcome back to Jagfest 2024. We're here in Saturday edition, and sorry we're running a few minutes behind schedule, but we're going to get going here with a game talk for the morning. We've got, I'm going to be talking about kind of how Songbird got formed, and you'll hear about that in a minute. Just to let you know what else is coming up today, we do have some more game reveals. Yes, more exclusive games coming to Jagfest. After lunch, we're also going to have a Nuon presentation. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to it because I will not be talking. I've actually got 2 guests here that are going to be talking about the design of the Ares 64 controller adapter and also programming on the Nuon. So that's going to be something fun that we can all look forward to in a couple hours later today. In the meantime, welcome back, and let's get going with the talk. Okay, everybody, we're going to do a game talk now. If you'd like to hear about how Songbird got formed and one of the first games I worked on. So no slides today, no microphones, so that'll hopefully go a little easier for us. So this one's called Protecting the Legacy, and it's kind of themed around, you know, the legacy of the Jaguar, although the Lynx has something to do with it too. But you know, I got started programming back in the mid-90s. So some of you may not be able to believe this. I actually didn't know about the Jaguar when it was released. Okay, so I was not privy to that knowledge because I thought Atari was dead. I thought they stopped after the 5200 actually. So that would have been like what, mid-80s or late 80s. I thought they just stopped, right? So I did not know about the Jaguar when it was released, but about late 94, early 95 is when I found out about it, like when I found this wonderful world called the internet and people were talking about Atari systems, like, whoa, there's new Atari systems, that's so cool. So I bought a Jaguar, I bought a Lynx, and I actually started coding on the Lynx first. I had another hobby developer I got connected to on Usenet. Anybody remember Usenet?
Woo!
Yeah. Yep.
Remember ARPANET?
Yeah, well, I didn't use ARPANET, but I know what it is.
Okay. There you go.
So that's how I got hooked up on Lynx programming first. Just someone sent me a custom cable and a cartridge and allowed me to download my very first game to a Lynx. And I was like, okay, if I can figure out how to write code that'll run on a game system, this is going to be fun. I want to do something with this because I was already a programmer for my day job. So fast forward a couple years, and around must have been 98 or so, of course, the Jaguar died. So I got into the Jaguar, 95. Jaguar promptly died on the market like 6 months later, 12 months later. Atari went out of business, literally. They actually got sold to another company and stopped all production of everything. And so like many Atari fans, I was sad. I was like, oh, I just got into the system. It's kind of cool. I like, Tempest and some of these other games. And then they just went kaput. So like a lot of you back in the era, if you were around at that time, I wish there was more games that would come out. So, I pestered one company, and actually Air Cars. I helped kind of form a fan release for that. We got Air Cars running over here in the corner. You can play that later. The company was based out of Illinois that published that, and I ran a fan campaign and got like 100 or 200 signatures for them to say, yes, people do really want this released. And once I sent that to them, they said, okay, we'll release it since there's demand. So that was kind of my first foray into publishing something for Lynx. Sorry, there's a fly there. And I'm sorry, for the Jaguar. But then the thing that happened on Usenet is someone posted many, many years ago and said that he was a former Jaguar developer and he had the complete source code to an unreleased game. So of course I sent him a message. I'm like, you got to tell me, what's this game? How can I get access to the source? I'd really like to publish it for Jaguar fans. And he said, no, I can't. It belonged to a company called Bethesda Softworks. And he said, no, I can't do that. Sorry, it belongs to them. You'd have to get, basically their CEO to give permission. So what did I do? I pestered their CEO. I said, can I get permission to acquire this game and publish it for Jaguar fans? And he actually sent the programmer an email. He didn't work for the company anymore at that point, but he sent him an email and said, yes, you can share your assets with Carl. So that's how I got started with, and that game was Protector. So that's this one here. I'm showing up to the camera for the stream. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Protector because I published this back in '99. This special edition got published in 2002. But that was the first game that really got me into programming for the Jaguar. And the cool thing there was I did receive a completely buildable game. So it had the graphics, it had some music, it had enemies, and all that kind of basic gameplay features were there. It needed some love. It was missing like difficulty tuning as far as making the game more difficult as you progress in it. It didn't have any power-ups. There were no boss fights, like fighting big enemies, to kind of change up the mix every few waves. It needed more music. It needed more background graphics, right? It needed a lot of stuff just to kind of make it a full-fledged full-featured game. And so that's what I spent time on. I got help from some Atari fans, actually. Some people, much like you, sent me music files to use. They sent me background graphics like star fields and galaxies and things like that. They had translated to the Jaguar format. So it was kind of a community project in a way where people would send me assets that I could incorporate into the game. And I was super happy with how it turned out. Let me just check my notes here. And by the way, the programmer who sent me the code, his name is Jorgen Beck, and he's, I believe, in Europe. But he was super helpful. He didn't help me with the design part or anything after he gave me the assets, but giving me access to everything and helping me get the game built originally so I could continue the modifications to it. If you go, I don't have the link for it handy, but I've looked for it even recently, and you can actually go find a history where he talks about how I contacted him and that he sent me the code and stuff like that, and that's kind of fun if you just want to read up about more of that. I also got a Jaguar developer kit, which I don't know where mine is. It's probably gone forever. So this is not the actual one because it's from a different developer, but this is a Jaguar system, as many of you know. This one has a weird cable hanging out of it because this is actually a developer system. So it has a different boot ROM or a BIOS, depending what terminology you're familiar with. But basically, it has a chip inside of it that boots it into developer mode instead of regular consumer mode. So when you have this thing hooked up to a funky looking cartridge, which is a big T-shaped circuit board I have in the display case over there, and you hook it to your computer, and again, this is back mid-1990s, so way back then, you could download games to this essentially and test them out. So that's what I use for hardware. The one I actually used for that back then, I got from John Carmack from id Software fame. So if you're familiar with the games Wolfenstein 3D and Doom, he actually sent me his Jaguar developer kit. Because again, Atari had left the business. They were no longer making Jaguar games. And I contacted him just kind of as a random nobody and said, do you sell any Jaguar stuff? And he's like, well, yes, I do. Would you like my developer kit? Because it's just sitting in a closet and I hate to see it go to waste. So that was super cool, that he was willing to share that. And that's, again, what helped me kind of get started with producing games for the Jaguar. Let's see, so what else do I want to say? So back in the day, I should have brought these, I have them at home somewhere, but the fact that I was making Protector and that I released a couple other games at the same time. So Protector kind of got me started, then I talked to a couple other companies like Rebellion and Chrysalis Software to get Soccer Kid and Skyhammer and another game called Hyperforce. There were even print magazines review these back in the day. So if you were familiar with Game Fan or Next Gen, I have issues they printed, national circulation from back around 2000 or so that review some of my games in there, which was kind of fun. I was like, wow, I actually got my photo in a magazine when I was like, I looked like I was about 15 probably, but back then. And that was fun. That was just an exciting thing. So the next thing that happened, after I released Protector and then I released a special edition 3 years later, so there was a special hook I put in the special edition that I tested like the last couple of days before I finished the game. So, okay, when you're developing a game, you spend weeks or months, in this case it was months, I'm sure it was at least 6-9 months I worked on it to finish the game. And by the way, I wrote like 1/3 of the game. So you wonder like how complete was it when you got it? I looked and counted how many lines of code I added when it was all said and done. I added 1/3 to the game to put in, power-ups, boss fights, different backgrounds, things like that. But one hook I decided to put in there at the very last minute, and literally like a week before I started building cartridges to ship to people, was CD support. Because I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun if this cartridge could actually, there's a CD adapter, which I didn't show for the Jaguar, but it stacks on top of the Jaguar CD system. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if you could put this cartridge in and then pop the CD in later, and the CD would basically be what we'd call downloadable content now, right? It'd be an expansion pack for the original cartridge game. No one had ever done that on the Jaguar. No one ever made a combo, like you could either have a CD game or you could have a cartridge game. No one had ever done like a combination like that. So I put the hook in there. I quick burned a CD at home and I tested it just to make sure it worked. I added like one new background or something super crude and simple, and it worked. I'm like, okay, feature's good, ship the cartridge. I never told anyone that I did that. And then, so this was in 2002. So 12 years later, in 2014, I finally actually made the CD expansion for it, which is Protector Resurgence. And some of you might have that in your collection or might be familiar with it overall. So it's exactly that. It's got, if you look at it, it's got new animations, new backgrounds, new music, new enemies to fight, that kind of thing. And again, this was kind of a hit. Protector was, the cartridge game was a good seller for Songbird. It was, I don't know how many copies I've sold, but it's definitely several hundred that I've sold over the years. So pretty popular game for me because, again, anything I sell over 200 copies is a really good seller. Even the CD expansion, given how limited the fan base is that could have both the base system and the CD attachment, this still sold, I don't remember how many, but it was probably around 200 copies. So I was pretty happy with that too. So that's kind of that's a real quick overview of like how Songbird got started. It was all thanks to, a guy on Usenet that posted that he had the source to a game, and I was able to ping him, and I was able to ping his former employer and say, could I get access to it? And that sort of started the whole thing snowballing and helped me. And I thought, if I could get that one game, why not do the others? Which is why I ended up getting Skyhammer and some of these other games, because I thought, boy, this is cool. If I can, if these other companies would be gracious enough to talk to a nobody who wants to make 200 copies of a game for the fans, and they were super understanding and very helpful to work with me, because the budgets were tiny for this. It's not like I could say, and here's $20,000 for your game, right? I mean, this is super tiny budgets because I didn't know if anyone was going to buy them, to be honest, at the time. So that's kind of where Songbird got started. So, questions? Anything people would like to know about that? Yeah.
Does the company ever do anything else?
What was your initial run? How many?
So like printed boxes, I probably printed 500 because all the stuff I do is with professional printers for all the boxes and manuals and stickers, and they had a minimum quantity, so I had to do 500. So that was scary because I'm like, I really don't think I'm going to find 500 people that want to buy it, and I was right. But so I probably sold, and I'm just kind of guessing here because it's been 25 years, but it was probably between 100 and 150 copies. And kind of the way I did it for the first, so I published 4 Jaguar games around 99, early 2000, and I took pre-orders. It was one of the few times I've ever taken pre-orders on things. There's been a couple other games since then, but I just had no idea, like, am I going to lose my shirt on this? Like, I can't go spend, because I had to buy circuit boards and shells and do all the boxes and everything. I'm like, I'm going to have to spend $10,000 plus on this. I can't just go shell that kind of money out. I didn't have that kind of money. So thankfully, fans were understanding, and they pre-ordered things, I forget how many months, it must have been like 3, 4, 5 months in advance. And that gave me the buffer I needed. By them putting like a down payment on the games, that gave me the buffer I needed to get that first run going. And kind of after we did that, then I was able to sort of keep it going myself, because I could use the income from that prior run to then fund the next games that I wanted to release. So it's kind of got the machine running. Yeah.
How much work was it for like the hard physical manufacturing part of getting the boxes, getting the PCB designs and everything, versus like just doing the coding? Would you say you spend more time on the coding or more time on all the peripheral stuff?
I spent so the question for people online, if you didn't hear, is about how much time did I spend on coding versus like the manufacturing and the printing? Is that kind of the gist of it? So I personally spent way more time on the coding because I'm a software developer by trade, now a software manager. So I spent a lot more time on the coding, and then I worked with other people. I found other people, other fans who knew how to do circuit board design and manufacturing, and that helped a ton. I also bought, so my first batch of Jaguar shells, so the plastic shells, I have clear shells here, like the Star Street cartridge is a clear shell, but they're all like black or dark gray back in the day. And I bought my first batch of, I think, 2,000 shells from Telegames, actually, who was a former Jaguar and Lynx publisher. They were going out of the business, of course, as you can imagine, around 98, 99 timeframe. They knew I was getting into the business, and they said, hey, would you like to buy 2,000 shells? It's everything we've got left. So that's I used, and believe me, that 2,000 shells, that probably lasted me like 10 years because that was a big supply. So it took a long time to burn through it. Yeah.
So do you manufacture replacement shells now and Lynx cards too?
So it's a different answer. So the question is about, do I manufacture my own shells for cartridge games? And it's a different answer for Lynx versus Jaguar. For Lynx, I do. I actually, about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a mold designed, like a big aluminum mold. I've never seen it in person, but I get the impression that it's like this really big mold that manufactures these little tiny cartridges, because they probably stamp out a bunch at once. So I spent a lot of money on that, and then I made thousands of link shells myself that I have. For the Jaguar, I've not made them myself. I've sourced them from people who either had the original mold, is where I got a lot of the shells over the years.
Was the original die somewhere for that?
It is. It still is around. There's a whole other story there about how the Jaguar molds, including the case, the big system case molds, went to a dental company. So Atari literally sold them. It wasn't like they just found them on a street corner somewhere. Atari literally sold the molds to a dental company so they could use it to manufacture dental equipment that would go inside the case. And then those molds, so the original molds from the 1990s eventually made their way back into Atari collectors' hands.
Did that include the cartridge molds? Were they in the same batch, or was something else?
Yes. It was as far as I know, I think it was the molds for everything, because I know for sure they had the cartridge mold at that same time. Because the dental company actually used the cartridge mold as a RAM expansion for their dental equipment.
So does Atari have the molds back now?
I believe they do. I'm not entirely sure. Yep.
The
Another
Jaguar
question.
really 64-bit? No, I'm kidding.
That's a touchy subject.
I did want to ask a more generalized question. Do you feel that the JAG's full potential by now has been tapped, or are there still tricks to be discovered, like especially in light of things like the Open Lara project and the possibility of porting Tomb Raider to the system like has already been done with the 3DO and 32X?
So the question is, again, has the Jaguar's full potential been reached? Is there more that developers could do with games? I think the answer is yes, there's always more you can do. I mean, you only have to look at other systems, whether it's the Atari 2600 or the Nintendo system from the early 80s, and you see developers pushing more and more. They're doing more and more tricks to do more colors on screen, more animation. Even, I think, didn't someone even bring like a 2600 movie cartridge with them? Somebody had that. I don't know if they're still here today, but someone actually made a cartridge that'll play movies in very, very low resolution on an Atari 2600. So it's crazy. But someone did it just because they could. So I think there's still more that could be done as far as, it just takes a lot of work. I mean, the reason you don't see a lot of like 3D fancy games coming out from hobby developers is because that's a ton of work. To make a demo is not so hard. Even though 3D programming would be challenging for me because I just don't have the background in 3D programming. But making a demo is not so hard, but making a full-featured game is a lot of work. And so I think that's the main barrier right now is it's like how many years of part-time effort does a developer want to spend on a game before it can get in the hands of the fans? Other questions? Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Jaguar game? And do you have a project that you're most proud of on the Jaguar?
As far as something that I coded myself or partially coded, Protector was what I'm most proud of, just because I love that and again, I didn't do the original engine. The original engine was handed to me, so that was great. But I loved all the things I could add into the game to make it really fun and enticing and just make it a satisfying experience for Jaguar fans. So that one I'm the most proud of because it kind of helped jumpstart Songbird back in the day. As far as like other games I didn't work on, I mean certainly games like Tempest, Raiden, NBA Jam, those are all super fun. And then also games like Towers 2 Enhanced, which the original developers came back and remastered this game. They released it in the 1990s, and now they remastered it just last year, which is really cool. They did a ton of work on this. I mean, way more work than I paid them in royalties. They did lots and lots of hours because they want to do the same thing that I did. They said, we haven't done a Jaguar game in 30 years, but we want to do something fun for the fans. So we're going to put the time in and go back to our old code and make it a better game than it originally was. Okay. All right, if there's one more question.
Is it something you wish people would still do on Jaguar? Like something any projects that you saw that they completed, or is it just an idea of the Jaguar you have that never got to whatever wasn't working to or anything? Do you have any dreams for the Jaguar?
So any dreams for the Jaguar, like a dream project or something? Well, I mean, as far as a game I would love to find and actually publish someday would be Fear for the Jaguar, which was like a 3D spherical Tetris game. As far as I know, no one actually has a playable version of that. I would love to find that someday just because it existed at one point. As far as something like that I would work on, I don't know. Actually, I do know. I do know because I told somebody yesterday, I think. So my dream project would be making a Lynx emulator for the Jaguar. I would love to do that. And I think it's actually doable. I don't think that's like a pipe dream, like it couldn't happen. I've already got the 2600 emulator that's half done. So I know I can parse the CPU. So then it's just a matter of getting all the Lynx specific features built in. So that one has a non-zero chance of happening. So I'm not saying that it's going to come out in the next year or two, but it definitely has a non-zero chance. Right. That would be cool too. Okay. So with that, I'm going to close out the talk, but I do have one more treat for everybody. So our next exclusive release for Jagfest is another Jaguar cartridge. And guess what? It's related to this game right here.
Oh, nice!
So I took the Protector Resurgence disc, which again only people that own the CD expansion can play. I combined it with the Protector cartridge, and I put them all together on one cartridge. So for the first time ever, only 100 copies, I'm doing a Protector Resurgence cartridge, Jagfest edition. So there you go. Thank you.
I don't have to buy a Jag CD now.
All right, cool. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. And it's probably almost lunchtime, isn't it? So I think we'll have lunch in like 20 minutes or so. Tetrasphere, yeah, it's the same. Okay. H2O software. And I actually emailed H2O way back when, and they said, sorry, we don't have any copies of the game anymore. Didn't keep the source code. I know, because as a collector, as a preservationist, I'm like, keep everything. Don't throw stuff away. Don't just delete your hard drives. But back then it wasn't. No one thought of it like that. No one thought about how you preserve the legacy of a game that wasn't worth finishing. So why would anyone ever see any value in keeping it? Same thing that happened with a lot of these games. It's like, Skyhammer was a finished game. Hyperforce was a finished game. Soccer Kid was a finished game. But the Jaguar market tanked. So the companies were like, well, no one cares about this. Then I approached them and said, well, there's a couple hundred of us that care. And they're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And so that was really neat to have them work with me.
Is that Resurgence cart going to be available for purchase?
Yeah, yep. I've actually got stacks of them.
No box.
Yeah, it's a cartridge only release.
So that has the original Protector and Resurgence together.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming. Great. Hope you appreciate it. Yeah. All right. Have a good day. It's just Resurgence, so you can't play Protector SE on it. I took some shortcuts in it so that it fakes out the CD process and it just loads the Resurgence content. Those are 60.
Fire one up on one of the machines here, so I'll check it out.
You can take it out of the wrapper too. That's just for convenience. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's fun.
Can I use this on that?
Yeah.
Forgot to use it yesterday.
Totally fine.
Thank you much.
So that comes from my college nickname because I was always singing and singing in my dorm room, between classes, and so somebody started calling me Songbird, and it just sort of stuck, you know. And then I just kept it with me after I left college. Right, I'm not around those friends anymore, but I decided if I ever form a company, I'm going to call it Songbird something. And so I've been. No. There's a few other developers that make their own games, and then Atari just published like 10 years ago. Atari, but they published some games for the Jaguar. So probably between me and Atari, they're like two main ones. And there's a couple of independent people in Europe that maybe like make one game. I published a lot. I published like 20 different Jaguar games over the years, 20, 30 links games. Atari has done probably 15, 20 Jaguar
What's
games.
each part, each one PCBs here in the States?
Oh, absolutely.
Should have brought a colored marker.
You know, I have there's.
For you, that'd be super too.
No, they do small batches.
There's a purple one over there, or I have other colors.
Military.
It's not that bad.
So, GLC, PCB.
What color do you want? Red, blue, or purple?
Oh, blue, that might show up as the light black.
Basically, it's
Yeah, it's just,
No, that's all I got from you. Because what you have with the hologram?
I like it. I wonder where that's actually, I think that's the same logo.
I've had that for probably 10, 15 years. I don't know.
See, I need one of those because that's what used to go on here. It was a hologram logo, but this never had one when I got it.
game comes.
So
That's where I got it.
do you just want me to sign on the shrink wrap?
Yeah, if you can.
I will.
Like this, you know, it doesn't play great, but it doesn't play bad. Like this
Where are we? Yeah, across the box somewhere.
and granted, you know, I wrote a pretty mean But like the movement of the, and actually these guys, the programmer behind this actually did send me on the links would plays best.
You gotta spend time.
Yeah, and for an infamously bad
Spend some time figuring out the map and work on the target. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna rotate 400.
Oh, you're not. Oh, I'm
Oh, great. Yeah, okay, that's,
Yeah, just, I mean, just as a student in high school, just, I spent a lot of classes, I just pay attention, programming, asteroids, and real.
You know what though?
Yeah, but the problem working on this
Just recently.
and then in progress, actually selected you can actually choose between plastic and energy. And it plays really well, like they really actually got Frogger right when they were on I mean, granted, there are some problems like this thing should be figured out on first level, but by and large, it's, maybe that's what makes it updated. But like, it runs fine, it's very visible, you know, if this was the only system we had, it would be fun.
I'll take this. Okay.
The trademark sound.
Yeah,
The sound not great.
well, there's nothing for the developer to do.
Right.
you know, the thing is, the engineers at Tiger really tried their best with all these systems to do something useful, but they just had no budget, and they had no time to fix things.
They had all these great licenses.
Yeah.
They had a system.
And this is, you know what I find funny is, this is literally, as far as I can tell, and I've tried to answer this question, I'm trying to figure out if every game can get it, they can't come and give you some cartridge, because so far they just built in the hardware. This is the last time Capcom ever let another publisher publish one of their games. And maybe that's understandable, but I think this is actually pretty good. You haven't tried this?
No.
It's, it is one of the harder to find,
I've seen videos of it.
it is actually,
I love that.
yeah. After I
Yes, it is. Yeah. It's got
all the pockets always like better pixel density, front lights, and actually the front lights are better. Even if you have
It's better, for sure.
but the screen is, it's still bad, but it's much better.
Too, but of course, you need a CD player for that. And then, it had, if you need full length video and CD.
I did, like, that was super impressive. I got as many games as I could on clearance, and I ended up with some of them.
I didn't bring it here today.
And it's just how they bring it out.
The CD version.
Yeah.
My childhood.
You find it hard to believe that you have to get the zombies space.
I was over break up for the
But it's not, you know, full story. Yeah, they really actually, honestly, almost like yeah, you just have to get yeah, that is an important part of the
Always.
So for new games, I'm switching to my old brand. So I'll get that for different.
Okay, that's, so I must have read something like that from you on your website.
Yeah, there actually is a lot, there's assets for much bigger games in there, or something. But they make another case where Tiger said, you just have to ship
It's just to help ensure that Songbird will try to publish games.
So they ship something that they weren't happy with.
Anybody else's. And I don't want to infringe on anybody's works anymore. So, most things I have, logos for now, but then as they sell
And
on,
this is supposed to be linked online, but the server is down. And the guy who runs it is in Japan. I actually have, if you're interested, I have a couple of non-publicly available links games from this is a preview of the New York games. So if you're into RPGs, that's the second one on the list.
I'm not, but I am interested in new licenses.
And then I also have a preview card of Dread Against the Machines, which is another one that's coming out later this year.
well, are you able to do that? It's not straightforward because like most of these games in the old days don't have any source.
I guess I don't want it.
So if you had, I mean, you have to redesign it essentially to make it run on the Jaguar. Or, like I just mentioned in my talk here a little bit ago, in fact, actually make an emulator, so if you make a Link simulator that runs in Jaguar.
Yeah, so don't take the shoulder bump.
Copyright on that. I would like to do that.
You can either,
Link's gameplay, or it'd be easy to translate that to Jaguar. Easy, once the emulator's there, by the time the emulator's there,
then it's like but the orange ones are also, the inputs are a little bit laggy.
Okay, yeah.
But the initial one, the inputs were better, but the music stopped every time you talked to somebody. So that was kind of irritating.
I did publish one links cartridge compilation with everything, and then as part of the deal, I got access to the distributors, so I could sell merchandise for myself. Yeah, it's a good system. I like that it's physical cartridges and everything's licensed, so they kind of take care of the whole, like, how do I play this, and making sure that it's really good problem, so that's nice. I'm not originally from here, I'm sorry, but I've been here for it's a pretty original display. Yeah. I just had 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I had a Jaguar. He's getting all this stuff now, and I haven't turned. Oh yeah. I haven't had it for years. That was back when you could buy them brand new. I always like $100.
Right. I used to sell them on my website. I'd buy them on clearance for $40 in the box, and I'd sell them for $99 on my website. It took me several years to sell them to my dad. And eventually I was like, wow, do you want these anymore? Because it seemed like it was sort of dying off. And I don't know that 20 years later, it takes off. I should have bought them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's probably about 18 years, 20 years.
Very few. There's a whole few that is like $70.
Right. Or, well, I saw one on eBay once. The guy wanted $2,500. No, that he wanted $3,000. But he hasn't sold them. They're still on there. I mean, that's a car. I mean, between the two. I mean, if you buy one complete with the box and everything, it's
37.
that's what exactly happens.
So it's here's the handheld version. So it's
You know, when you split it, it's not bad, but still. We ordered our first like townhouse, but you know, times have changed, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. It's almost the size of this thing, so it's got like a 4-inch screen on it.
this is a pretty.
They also made a whole console version, which there's this white red stripes.
What else you been up to?
Like in that TV. It's a everyday DS. That can actually do 4 players. Double Dragon and other players. And these are Super Pockets. So this is the same system that you branded it as Super Pockets and everything that you place. Everything cartridges. It's got a slot. It's just a smaller, cheaper form factor. So you're looking at 2.5 inches. Right, that's what they're trying to appeal to. Something that is more pocket size, because this one is big. It's about that size. It's like that small. And all these are built-in games. So this has it's kind of an iron cartridge that has like a control and R-Type on it, and then it's got Capcom built into it. Or you can fling
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
another cartridge.
But on rollers, that's the best way.
And these come in.
And like there's different areas, there's
This is their first blood
where
so that's
you and your teammate and they'll like grab your hand.
Never came kind of like a spin-off from a car.
It's its own company based out of the UK.
Okay.
Yes,
They've licensed from
Mario
Atari, so that's what you see in Atari.
Okay, gotcha.
But they also licensed from
Sure. Right.
Yeah, Atari just bought in television, so technically they own television now.
seen that, yeah.
This was released like 3 years ago, so they work with a bunch of companies, a lot of independent companies. Like here's a collection of just 2 games, but these are like developer games that came out in the last 5-7 years. American Horror, Indie Heroes, kind of by name, so it's a collection of independent games.
I did
Casino Crisis, that's been a super popular one. Casino Crisis is kind of like Total Party, Smash TV. This has been ported to like a dozen different
Everything. I think I bought that for my Nintendo.
Yeah, damn.
I think it's on Nintendo's website. I think I got it on that. I know I got it on something.
So ironically, there's a lot of Jaguar games in some of these, but not the Jaguar forms. But there's like, you can find Soccer Kid, you can find Cannon Fodder, Syndicate. there's a number of games that are showing up in different collections. So it's like if you're a Jaguar fan, you can actually find a number of games on here. You know, they don't actually have a Jaguar collection.
He's going. I want to get these two. Okay. I bet you know what I'm going to ask you about. The extra links.
I brought it and I just needed to mess it up.
Well, and he's got it set up, right? Yeah. Credit cards and stuff.
I just gotta find something really sort of tangentially related but weird to have myself.
It's this thing's here. It actually has the VGA port. That's the reason why I bought it, because I wanted to get the VGA out, but it wasn't working when we tested it. So I'm going to try a different scatter today to make sure it's working. If it's going to work, I'm probably going to keep it.
All right, well, fair enough.
If it doesn't work, the screen works perfect, and it's a modded screen. So that that would be the one I would keep. Okay, so. Well, I bought it because I wanted to play Well, it doesn't work. That's why I just think it's
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that. That's not well, there's a problem here. Sales guys are.
Oh, we can do that. Oh, we have no place to put that. Next 9 months.
Yeah, it's really, it's,
You know that joke? Software salesman and used car salesman. Used car salesman knows when he's lying. All right, Carl, I'm gonna bug. Good show.
I think you're saying I'm going to buy.
He's taking one of everything.
Right. Actually, now I don't. It wasn't quite that, but a YouTuber years ago came into my booths and he just walked into the booth. I didn't know who he was. He's like, I don't know where we do one. And he just walked into my booth. He says, I want to buy Jagfest stuff. I'm like, that's 5 games right there. And he's bought it right there on the spot. He's like, what 5 games that you get? Okay. Like these games run like usually $50 to $60 a year, and these usually run $70 to $100.
But
These are more expensive. This guy has a board and a shell. It's like the case is already like $20 to $25. Just an art. So that's the latest version. I think that's it. And just the molded plastic. So those are way cheaper. But just to show you how inflation is not happening, I was selling Jagfest and so now it's like 80, 90. Like, how come I should sell for like 100.
About the Resurgence.
Yeah, here's the filter. I know I
The prices be going up. The hair dryer and not like the stuff or.
Oh yeah, the demand has gone up. So more people are buying it. It's just maybe they pay more. Like this is the first game.
Yeah, well, I remember playing on
this
this
from last year.
getting confused by Sears thing playing
So those kind of tests and waters. It's so confusing. It costs me more too. This one costs more licensing. But the response was really good. So I was happy with it. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe that'll help pave the way for other more expensive releases. I did. Oh, that smells like right, and so James has it because he assembles it from scratch. So. Oh yeah, that's my favorite. Alright, okay, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I mean, of course.
Is your last name?
So I lived in.
almost all the games.
Okay. I definitely.
Yeah, so it's an infrared controller. I know you know. The power.
got a yoke you can put in here to like hold something.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's a handheld. That's right there.
Still have the shirt. It doesn't fit.
Nope,
It was
you
never,
can
it was
actually,
never very sensitive. It was
Yeah, so
yeah, no, that's a 16-bit handheld system.
Game Boy.
I was hurt.
so that's
Protector 99 and Protector Special Edition. I love it. Every time I pop it in, I always like want to play it. It's just fun. Yeah, I like the particle effects, the sprites were all done in 3D Studio, so it was like very early rendered. Sprites. But they were rendered in 3D Studio, so you get that nice shading effect and the really smooth animation. It's just, it's a well done game. Like, it should have come out. It could have definitely sold.
projector aside. One of these two definitely. Yeah, because I was.
I'm the red. I'm having a red plug. Analog Pocket uses physical hardware stick.
It does, but
Like they have a links in that right now. You can play links in it.
yeah. But I know some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because that's like.
There you are.
Alright, this is all new and everything's
Yeah.
just
So that's why. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, just a reminder, everybody, too, as you're eating lunch and playing, if you want to do the swap meet, if you have anything for the swap meet, feel free to bring it out and set it out on like some of these center tables, or we can maybe find another small table to pull out. But if you want to do swap meet from noon until 2 p.m.
Oh, I forgot about the good news is it's a lot easier to desolder something if you're not worried about the CPU or something when you're desoldering.
Yeah, that's downside.
Well, because you can just desolder and stuff sucks, but you can, with that, since I know it's bad, I can just cut off the legs. Use this liquid.
And we also have lunch available.
Yeah, you can have a solder.
Still have that?
What's easiest, at least to me, is so high.
Yeah, I mean, it can cut off the legs and use the weight to pull the legs out one at a time. And then you can go back and clear out the holes so I can put them in there.
I've had pretty good luck with those little plunger things.
Mine just sucks. Well, it doesn't suck.
You got one where you usually work together.
Yeah.
It's the one where there's a long.
Yeah, I got the Untitled but
Oh, okay. Those are the new style.
oh, I thought they knew that. Okay.
Or we didn't know about it anyway.
I hate that thing.
Yeah.
That would be the thing that you could do, I mean, yeah, because if they discussed that with them, if they sold like a minimum cost. Really getting chips for brownies? Yeah. Because like, I kind of want to do the low price thing. I have a Saturn, I've got a PlayStation 3 at home, I've got a PC, I got a 3. I really don't all the ways in it are like, I dropped my way, I think.
That's what the value does. I know that that's great stuff like 200 the cards and then actually sells now that's this one up for sale and then I got to use my space.
Whereas, you know, it's like, I got say Saturn, 3, the Dreamcast, Jaguar. Wife is like, do you really need this many consoles? What do you think?
Yeah, this is
clothes all spread out. Gets me out in front, it's bloody. Yeah, it stays about 12 degrees cool. Yeah.
It is turkey sandwich. You also have to be on beach. They got beaches in Chicago.
Snow or beach?
No, Lake Michigan. That's a nice beach. Totally. Pretty much.
But what people, it does confuse people that you can go to the beach like in Chicago. Don't they have like the dunes thing or something like that?
Oh, that's in Indiana. That's in Michigan. No, that's Indiana.
Was it that one steep one off of Lake Michigan? That really steep one. That cost you $3,000 to take you back up.
I don't know, there's a lot of them out there, especially when you go up to like the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah.
Driving up there, especially in the winter time.
I mean, like winter around here. It's money.
I'm as hit as that side.
That's a little bit of a long flight. One Jaguar fan in Saudi Arabia. Real bad, he's not here. Yeah, right.
Yeah, hooks up to Ultra Wars. That's important. There's actually in the shift gate they have a cheat code to enable voice mode, and then two people can play head to head, including voice chat.
Yeah.
Brother and I actually played it back in the 90s. We had a modem, both lived in Rochester here, and we played against each other.
So is that an actual modem we have to dial each other, or is it you basically dialing receivers and sending?
There's no like network in between. So it's just dialing.
It's the baud read it off.
I think it's like 4 but it was enough you could do voice chat and still fight or play the game at the same time. So that was pretty revolutionary.
Yeah, I remember when it was. I used to run it at the same time.
Yeah.
I used to play Sega Saturday. There's no TV. And you get on the internet with the game, someone can take a dial and start saying like multiplayer. Yeah. This actually went through a washer.
Yeah, it was my pocket.
Oh, shoot.
So I washed them out as good as I
Yeah, it's
could.
really to see maybe if I can get one.
I have no connection.
Really?
Okay.
Rinse them out again.
I just like borrow some space over here at the edge.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe that one, right under the side here.
That'd be okay, otherwise it should have eating cases or something. Right. Yeah, that's fine.
I haven't done a lot of stuff.
The old Songbird banner reminds me of very strongly. ZK2, ZK squared web technologies.
So did you say this was only the second time that you've done one of these? Yeah, 99 and 2024.
About contemporary.
Otherwise, I usually go to a couple of bigger shows this year, so there's one in Milwaukee I go to every spring. That's like 10, 15,000 people. And there's one I go to the Port out, that's about the same size. Mafia runs pretty fun. I mean, that's driving this 2 years, so. I set up booth at each of those shows. There, I've kind of just changed my booth the whole time because it's a giant show and lots of people come in and go and everything. So I get to scale out of the show myself, but a little bit that I walked around, I'm like, okay, this looks super cool.
You ever read there was a Euro Jagfest?
Yeah.
You're not involved with that at all?
Not
Never, yeah.
I'd like to go sometime. That would be fun. It's kind of the same thing like they did last year. They had like 50 people come or something like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of familiar faces to me that I've talked to online.
Yeah, yeah.
Want to check them out, go for it.
Well, I gotta head out, Carl, but I just wanted to thank you for doing this. I know it's a lot of work. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming by. Hope you had fun.
I did. It was great. Have a good one.
You too.
Oh, this might sound odd, but the other one I want to try is multiplayer on this. You know how to play the Mahjong solitaire?
Yeah.
Might be a problem.
That's really good for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's really
So that was made by an independent
I have it in a safe.
group of developers that never did anything else with that. I don't know. It's a guy I know. Texas, and I actually saw him last year. School stuff. He's a programmer, a guy named Scott, and he's a guy named and then he had another guy, Terrence, that helped him with like music and graphics, and the third person I think they just wanted to make a game, and they made one thing, and then that was it.
I don't ever see any of those around anywhere.
No, they're super hard to find. They only did like one run.
Okay.
Never, yeah, that's mine. I never opened that. I did open the original Battlesphere. This is Battlesphere Gold. I played the original one a lot. When this came out, I bought it, but then I was like, well, I already have Battlesphere, so I'll just keep playing that when I want to play it. There it is. That's from the original run. When I talked about earlier, that's from the original run in like 98 or whatever. And only two of them had serial number stickers on it, so I got those two. Because I helped run that campaign I talked about. That was my reward, once they sent me 2 complimentary cartridges. And I said, would you put a serial number on them? Because I wanted to just make sure that it says that I got number 1 and number 2. I said, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I know we've got some Battlesphere cards over here on the corner.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, that would be a complete cluster for. Oh, yeah. Until they moved into that building that's kind of doing it's just expensive.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Not anymore. The other side, it was like a huge gigantic shopping center.
She actually has an Atari flashback.
But you crank the admission charge up and like the vendor's charge up or what? I think it costs more.
I don't know. I was wondering the same.
I know there's a big hard life that has the hardware.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's so cool. Yeah.
I'm fully attired. I've got the socks and.
You won't often see this many in one place.
No, I don't think I've ever seen this many in one place. Would you like to be in the picture?
If you want me.
Yeah.
this amount of so you know, you have to stock it, and you never know when you're going to buy it, so all sure. That's right. That's not that's we should really, it's not a complaint really, it's just part of the ecosystem that more products over time.
Yeah.
But then it's not always obvious which things are gonna keep selling, so it's like, I doubt it. You know, I have a few hundred everything cards at home, and I'm waiting for people to buy them, I'm like, well, that's a lot of money, I suddenly cards.
Yeah.
But it's good, it keeps
Well,
it going.
I think, you know, I know that these are very highly sought after.
Right. Those I think those are my last two copies.
But the, you know, I think with the, like, the arcade stuff, the alphas are getting really,
It's not like I can find it here.
so, I don't know, I think that could bring
Dave,
No. I've asked for one for Christmas, so.
But they're a lot pricier.
Use this one. He's gonna decide yeah, I like the idea. I would really like to have them for shooters because you know, I don't at home I don't play on the TV that much. I mostly play on handheld, but then with the 12 shooters in particular, it's just impossible to hit the button fast enough.
Sure.
So
99.99.
we move the phone?
Yeah, I'll move that too.
What do you think?
It's much better than when they first came out as the demo version, whatever. It's not bad.
This is the one where the helicopter
this is the one where the
The concept was good.
yeah, it's just
I think I sent it to him, but he'll have to verify.
Is it available?
He has something to play on.
this is like the
It'll be on that TV.
so there's only available there for it's gonna be a fold.
From Portugal, it's the Tempest
So
3000
they'll be in
on
sync
it.
totally. He didn't.
And there's still some ones that this is kind of getting close to release, can't try to rip it down.
He puts out those.
This is something you like to know.
It's like links to whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That's it's not actually, it's not clear to me, it might be that
I
Beta is making them separately. Yeah, I mean, Beta sells them. I kind of thought Beta was making them, but it might be that
He has it, I don't think he does it anymore, I think he sold it years back, but he brought it to Jagfest, like the side of Jagfest.
Yeah, I just have people.
That was so cool. I don't know, I was just like this little man, you see missiles raining down on you, it was a very cool.
there's one Australian that's shown up.
I know the one that Alan pre-ordered on that. It comes with Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3.
Something you think you'll probably do every couple of years. I don't know, I mean, it's fun. It's been on this. More than I had to.
One side so, but he didn't make that clear. He's also not really. Yeah, but like, you know, I haven't seen Bastion really increase often, so it takes something to get Bastion good. Although they've made up apparently. I think. But it would be like a couple of projects that we and then after we got one, my parents did the entire tree to meet it every single post. He replaced every single post. Cost fallacy. It's just like, come on, man. Like, that's the thing. I always been hard.
What I really wanted is
Yeah, like that's right, exactly. Like
it's kind of fun. And I got a board and I never
Oh, shut up, I didn't even see those.
well, I saw it. I've seen it. And it never actually worked for whatever reason. I tried to literally give away nobody wants to
probably be looking at that now.
You don't know though when you put it past them. Look at his face. Actually.
Really give you that real flavor.
I'm like, well, no.
Yeah.
Probably
Most everything is.
usually don't bite things.
I'm talking to yeah, I just talked to him about it.
The only thing I ever had with that ducky, one time I was trying to get him outside and I was pushing on him in the back. He didn't like that. He saw me for
I got those from Odessa collectors.
Oh, it's like parking lot. Yeah,
Are the ones I got.
Here now.
not bad actually.
There's a state liquidation place up in St. Louis, and it's in Humboldt. And I went in, and it was like people doing these, and they were like,
The plus is pretty good. Yeah.
and I was like, I will give you X, and they're like, if I remember right, came home, honey, happy anniversary. I'm pretty sure they came out of a collector's thing because they haven't sat every you know, they don't have
Problems getting the logo.
Yeah, those are just some of the things that you just see on most of mine are really good.
Yeah,
you can tell a kid played with them. Those are sets.
I got, actually, I got something similar to something like 25. I got something like
What's the classic piece, right? The grid pattern.
They're all completely machine guys.
he had some issues with the
It wasn't awesome. Not at all.
So like we would see each other. What's really funny is it disagreed about how we're going to do
put my name down on, I just saw it actually got it once.
As soon as he sent emails out, 10 minutes later, they're on. I think he has like 20 or 30 of them.
Oh, really?
The second time I got an email.
Oh, really?
I was in
They're always up front if you want to check in.
and I would just buy it because it's usually people, they make these, make like a couple hundred of them and then you never see them there. Especially because I buy it. We cleared that lead. Hey, how you doing? Good. Yeah. They run it for 1 month and you never see them again. It was kind of weird, like 5, 6, 7 times of what the price was. Like I remember, I don't know if you know anything about CFA cards, CFA cards, hard drive, flash memory one. The guy's like, yeah, the price of the card, so we're out some parts, and it's like this flash memory. So I got it on the last one.
These are all in really good condition. Oh yeah. I mean, they're all new.
Okay, so the rights to react like this.
I remember.
And there's like 8 different like VGA adapters. Because half the time it's in the basement.
They had the Atari cartridges for like $1.
Well, I'm not making this one anymore. It takes 4 months more to review.
Yeah, experts know this, right? Yeah, you can read about, there are actually books about
I didn't even realize it was a Jaguar game. That's so cool.
Right, and then like every movement is predetermined, and so it
That's the one
what
for
each ghost is going to do.
the MS exports. It's every memory.
You beat it. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't seen this guy
Well,
here.
okay, so
You gotta check that out. It's,
Full 3D movement.
I don't know.
100 levels after that.
everything in this texture.
So is it how
It's
you
really,
Well,
I mean, it's very similar to like the Descent.
I have to get one for the.
You've made the game correct.
I mean, this is the absolute pinnacle.
So it's never designed that
on Jaguar. Like Jaguar.
Is it set up anywhere here?
I don't know. Does anyone have a copy of Skyhammer?
Look into,
I thought I saw. I thought I saw something.
They're curious.
Okay, good. I might have it on my game now. Some things are unreleased.
Not that I know of, but I could have done it.
There's an actual,
a little bit more reliable.
okay.
Which one? You have like that. If you get one, you're basically gonna get one where ours
Just
are
set up
bad.
My bus.
Or, 12, maybe 12, and maybe 5 or something like that. We made these boards, they put all the chips in, and it's folded like, so.
Is there a difference here?
The best bet, if you ever work on them, is take the really nicest, smallest, sharpest side cutters you have, come out from the top, run a really small pair of pliers that pull the legs out in half a minute, 'cause you're never gonna get them out.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, I've done it a couple times and not that bad. But the SMD caps,
Yeah, they were trying to.
Power drive.
That one I'm sure.
These caps are soldered down under them, and then they're always nice and clear.
So what's
You can do it by hand.
What's the other?
And it's like, oh, just run a hot air gun.
Find yourself a
Absolutely. This is, I wasn't really sure, 'cause I don't know anybody here. And I had never been to any of the past decades. So I didn't know what to expect. It's just something.
I like that's just a laid back thing.
Oh, that's just an extra one that I got.
It's like, it's so hard to find, just find other people that are into retro games. But to find people who are into Lynx and Jaguars, like, you know, it doesn't happen. So it's pretty cool.
They're actually on clearance for much less.
I was really surprised. When you
Actually, it's down that much because I bought the other one.
School resource officer, middle school, high school.
Oh, she forgot to reach out.
I like it. Well, that's why I get to be off in the summer for I spent it this year. I work a lot of overtime.
Oh, is that the other one?
You know, mass marketing, football games, dances, that kind of stuff.
That game,
It pays off. And I'm seeing the childcare costs for my kids. I got a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old at home too. so can stay home with them in the summer. And it's, it's good for them.
So you're just basically stuck from
Daycare all summer. It works out. I don't know. It's kind of stressful days. The high school I'm at is like one of the, I mean, Green Bay doesn't have like really bad areas, but one of the rougher schools in Green Bay.
Oh, I have a whole bunch of stuff.
But if you, I can't imagine. I remember when you first started teachers, I don't think about the resource officers, but
2,600.
it seems like the teaching dynamics.
I should buy it on IMAX.
And plus I'm getting to be an old folk, so I get that. It's like you're hurting cats on the best day. And on the worst day, you got people actually like slamming each other in the floor.
I think they started
I wonder if these developers like get people.
But the majority of it is really good. I handle all that cost problems. I'm not there anymore, so it's weird. There's this new trend in the last maybe 2 years where kids who are runaways will still show up to school. And that's just kind of like foreign. I don't know why, they don't want to go home. But they don't go home. They just wander the house, hide in the bathroom, hang out with their friends. Right. Well, that's probably not. Yeah, COVID kind of mess with a lot of things. Yeah, I like it.
I'm sure there's some people. No one, like, honestly, nobody really wants to put me on the round. They're like, it's bad in life, which I totally get. I don't do that. You don't want to be like, actually alone with no one you know. Like, how are you going to sustain yourself? I thought I did normal, but
yeah, so all this, these guys here are talking about programming games and assembling cartridges, all this stuff is like way over my head. I'm not checking it out. It's like I couldn't even. I bought one of those Jaguar Bluetooth adapters. I couldn't even figure out how to do it. It's just I'm really bad. I can stick a cartridge in there and play a game beyond that.
They took $1,000 just to I've always been a much bigger console gamer with like Xbox and things like that. I didn't qualify because of that. I don't want to have to know, like, do I have the right video card, and is this set up right, and do you update the driver? It's like, no, I just want to play. I'm going to code the thing in, and it works.
Once you're on the edge of the wall,
Nowadays, I'm not even sure with Xbox and everything, because you pop in a disc, if there's still a disc, you pop in a disc, and then, oh wait, there's an update. So at least it takes care of it for you, but there is something really nice about the whole place. Plus the old city, system,
I kind of get this idea that games get released nowadays, and they're not finished. They know that they can do. There's always a day one patch, and they can fix things happen. That shouldn't happen. It should sell a finished product.
I prefer the.
It's really just a download. You just hop it in, it says, oh, we're going to now download 80 gigabytes. Okay, that's not really a physical release. Yeah.
I still do modern games. I don't have a PS5, I have a PS4, I have a Switch. But the majority of stuff I play on those systems is either like a retro port, like the Link's port on the Switch, or a new game in the style of, old games, a lot of indie stuff. I don't do a lot of AAA games. What is that?
Great. About a year ago. So, it's not related to the original game, but it's essentially like a homage to another world. We're out of this world. It's full of flashback. That's style of game. So it's a pixel style, graphic, art style, slow res, and high-res.
25% under.
It's so well done. The guy, he's a solo dev, and he did like all the cinematics. So he got the cutscenes between like the action, just like flashback would have had, or
It's very much like I love it. Like the game starts to finish. Love the whole thing.
I think I was.
And it's the moon is a spaceship, so it's lunar, and it's Mars. At first I was like, why did you call it lunar? What's that got to do with it? But I figured out that's what it is. Sure. The moon is a spaceship, so it's it's a really good game. The Rochester. Yeah. So it's finally seen a video on Twitter where he'll show himself like falling over, or like climbing a ladder, and then he roasts himself in the game, and his main character will do those. It's a really good job. So I'm just like, great. It's like you don't have a developer kit, and all the cards that were once a year. Well, I Tempest for it was like $20, and I bought it right away. That looked totally unreal. I love
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, thanks, Carl. Thanks, guys. Glad you had fun.
I'm not gonna lie about that.
No,
Next time you have one of these, I'll probably use
I work so many hours right now.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Great.
Yeah, I know. You can hardly find a window to open anymore.
No, not that shit. That's it. Well, it's nice to meet you. Yeah. Keep buying stuff from you.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Maybe you want to see my Tempest 2000?
So how many people have come before this weekend?
Still sealed.
I met James before. Met you before. Kevin, who's he and his wife are over there. I've met Kevin many times. Kevin was actually at the original, or my original Jagfest.
Somebody else, there's like, oh, this is half of it that I bought from someone. Just so I could get
There's the Microvaders on the table I met him before many years ago.
It's like 29.
Somebody was here earlier. Never got the story. He reminded me. He said he was like 17 at the time. Was it the one in Sky?
You don't mind if I break this stuff.
So he didn't have a driver's license. His older brother drove him to Rochester so he could pick it up in person. So he's like from Indiana or something. He said he actually drove to my house and bought it in person. I'm like, I don't even remember that anymore. But that's a really cool story. I've never even found something.
That would work out pretty well.
to know. I've seen them as up for sale, right?
Museum. Yeah. Right, there's something you're wanting.
Like guy from Saudi Arabia. Is any of that stuff for sale? I want to buy some of that stuff. I feel bad for like everyone having fun with it.
I mean, I'm saying
We are.
Long ways from Saudi Arabia.
Is that comes to listen to the story so
I didn't realize you were
Oh, yeah.
Looking at PS RAMs.
I want to get some comments and play some slime world.
I love how you just go with that.
I'd love to get into game development, but I don't have the time for it. Maybe someday in retirement.
It helped that I was young and I was already a programmer. And I guess I didn't program enough that burned me out. So I was just, I had lots of energy. Like, yeah, I want to learn how to do video games. That sounds fun.
How many hours would you say you put into putting this event together? I mean, it has to have been a massive.
It's definitely something. I mean, that's not exaggeration. But, I mean, to be fair, some of it is like me prep, or my family prepping for games, right? So it's like, we didn't have to work with rock games to sell, right? You never know what people are looking for, right? Someone says, oh yeah, I never picked up the computer, or can't put your around there. We did a lot of game prep, but my well, extra game prep, we do like that show. Sure. I spent a lot of time.
You're good.
I don't know, it's probably like 100 to 150 hours, something like that, because, you know, I designed the, well, I kind of designed the logo. I mean, I found like a free version of the Jagfest controller like that, and I added some features to it with the put the background on it, and I designed all the print graphics, so I can do that big banner and the little lanyards. Like everything else takes time. You're doing a high score sheet. I was making a high score sheet in like 2 or 3 days. So I'm like, wait, I gotta do one of these, and so I gotta like type it up. That's all right. That's fun.
Takes time just to figure out what games I'm gonna use for high score or for another. At home I'll get my nerd friends together and have a game night or something. It takes a lot to figure out what games you can use for competition. You can't play like Rain Man competitively, you know. So that alone.
Well, that's why I know they have NBA jams in the corner, and I definitely would like to do more multiplayer stuff. But I think NBA jam competition is a 4-player game. So you can do a ladder game with like 2 on 2 teams, and then get to play other people. But then it just
gets messy.
It's a lot of time. So it's easier when it's just a solo high score game that's light.
This is really on 2 little screw connectors.
I like to do bad game nights where I'll do the game competition out of all terrible games like race driving or what's the link? Hard driving. SNES version is race driving.
Hard driving. I don't even know what.
And then like Desert Bus, you know, whatever terrible games they can make my friends suffer. Kasumi Ninja. Selling the game. Is this all the swapping stuff here?
Yeah.
I should go check it out. I brought a few web applications to plug into your computer to get on the web.
It's a travel for you. I know it's serious.
I used to actually use.
Yeah, I started guessing the screws on the game and then you my game.
I have 2. I brought 2 with me that I haven't used yet. Everyone's got it.
A lot of game comment. I think I played it. I got a soft spot for the underdog system.
Oh yeah, I'll take 5.
Play in my specialization.
Before I came here, I bought it. I bought it new when it was in the stores, and actually took it on trips. That's what I have. Like I take it on business trip, ride a laptop. Because back in like that era around 2000, they didn't give you laptops. So I brought it with me. I didn't use it for work purposes, but I brought it with me so I could send emails to people while I was in my hotel room. With a little stylus typing out emails. It's a little painful, but it's my only option.
I mean, it was really impressive in a lot of ways, just not with the screen or the processor or the sound.
It was one of the first PDAs and didn't really take off. That was a pre-job.
I've got a box that lets me upscale it.
Oh, I think this might be one. Yeah, there's one back there.
I never heard of that or seen it. It's kind of so cool and had the little trackball, the physical ball in the center. Yeah. And I got one. That looks so cool, and look how handy it is. I love that little trackball thing.
I actually ported Scott Adams' pictures over to BlackBerry. And that was really fun. And just like
Oh, okay, it's the light. Maybe if you hear all about new on the side call, I need to know.
This may be the first time I played it. I don't know. I know I haven't played this 3000 before.
Willing to do
What else would I play?
putting a little dollar.
Definitely not Iron
I did like that.
Are they pretty pricey now in the second-hand market?
They're just hard to find.
To be honest, it's
Probably partly because of the controller.
video
You go back 18 months ago, you could almost always find them on eBay.
game
But that's because they never came with game pads, so they really were just DVD players. And people that wanted them, people would buy them, but you couldn't do anything with them. And now that the controller adapter out, now they become more collectible, I think, so people can actually play games on them without spending $500 on a controller.
How big is the library?
6.
Okay.
And Carl has 4 of them now?
Yeah, they reprinted Free Fall, Untitled Chapter, so half the library.
Is there ever a development kit?
I mean, they're a software kit, yes. Not a hardware. In fact,
I think
James is going to talk about
I think it's actually like 11 sometimes just Korea only or something. Because there was, Carl, I think there were like 11, right?
11 games?
Yeah.
No.
There's Bubble Bobble, there's Ballistic.
You're talking about Bust Move, that was never released.
Seriously, I thought there was something that was just released in Korea.
That was, yeah, the Shin-Chan or whatever.
Yeah.
Korean cartoon game.
And there was Space Invaders too, right?
It was, so they have region stuff on the new one, so it was released only on Korea discs. That's the only region exclusive game for non-US.
Well, I try and find the 20-inch one.
Yeah, libraries, Iron Silver, Tempest, Free Fall, and then Space Invaders, Ballistic, and Merlin Racing. The Atari Race guys made Merlin Racing. And then plus the Korean games, so 7 games total if you count the Korean.
Right. We have my Iron Soldier disc. They sent out, they had a bunch of misprints or something that they on some of the ones.
Correct.
So I still have that in the envelope somewhere. Yeah. They sent out that asked for.
Yeah, and that's right. It still doesn't work on the players.
Yeah, the one that doesn't work on the one that I have.
Yeah, I want to pay me $20.
Because of that. Which player do you have?
I have the cheap one. I have the one that was, I got it for like $40.
You know those power recliners?
That band 2000?
Yeah.
Okay.
They lift up, and then they'll do that. We had a couple that we were trying to get rid of for free. That finally got to the point where I actually stopped listening free. And then someone finally goes, oh, or maybe like $20 a piece. Would you take? I'm like, okay, man, I've got them sitting in the trailer right now. The farmers in so that's like $5 away. Oh, would you take $20 on it?
Yeah, there we go. Now I go back to I'll drive my back and load all my ammo again.
I just need them off of my trailer. My yard.
I get so what a few of these things they work on. They got
Because I couldn't move on. Yeah, I was when it gets warm out, last week was like 5.
Right. It's not really 2 terabytes. It's actually only 100 gigabytes. It's one of those hacked up or whatever. We got to never stack them.
And they get all kind of shit. So they leak down at the indoor storage.
Like I said, I can see they bring fun. Even if they're moving back and
Those chairs.
It is the most fun to have in St. Francis County.
I won't even, unless it's something important or I can negotiate a price, I generally won't.
Some of it, that's fine, but I was going to sell it all together.
They always want to go to someplace weird.
Oh, I already have it. Resident Evil, I played that for a long time.
I worked for
I didn't bring it back.
not getting there's 2 of you. They didn't own the lease.
I have batteries.
I had some guy go, oh, we can meet me over there. I'm like, yeah, I know where it is. And I'm like, hey, why did you pick this place to meet here? He's like, oh, this just seemed like a good place to live. Like,
Yeah, I think all of them.
oh, I'm from like 200 miles over that way. I just come through here.
And then you go forward.
I've seen some real cheap places. You know, there's been broken down shit living there for years and years.
So how's it going?
You know how to spend. I'm like, there's a reason why people park at the front of the store where they're not supposed to before people come out. It's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, really. I'm like, next time pick like a gas station off of like a freeway.
Hey, wait a minute, is that at work? Like going through it? Oh, there's a war. Oh, look at that. It changed. It's like, so when we killed them, they were different color. Gray ones are warm.
I started my program.
Well, no wonder it really
It's
spent
just like a week of work.
8 minutes trying to kill something I can't
I
even
get
kill.
right into it. I'm feeling kind of nervous. Like, I know I'll be doing good and stuff, but like the last year of school is not going to be a challenge for me, and this is going to be really challenging.
Okay, so pink is
Like right away we get into microbiology, which is like, it's a subject that takes like every student along. I don't know, like I know I'll do good, but it's just it'll be a lot of grind. Like they say that every day it's like 3 to 3 it's not too bad. That's what it is.
Supposed to be that big.
But then
No, it's this big.
like, oh, you're gonna have to do like
that graphic
5
was a
hours
little weird.
which that's gonna take a lot to do. Just like reading textbooks.
So do we need to make a box that size?
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Calculus is I never had to take calculus. I took pre-calc. That was probably one of my favorites.
It's running an analog pocket, isn't it? FPGA based.
Yeah,
Pink is work. It has
I don't know. Something about that thing on actually really
No, I think maybe it's the acting that talk about hard to represent like that.
Yeah, it really depends on the teachers you have. Because the teachers, like, we had like a lot of online modules, which like it was a lot of questions, it was like 60 questions every day. But like just that repetition was really figure out. I think they have the 3 lines. But like the version that people have been fighting with this is like the 3-minute mode. We're trying to get the high score.
exit now.
But the high score is like the high, I think.
Did it work for you, Pat?
Yeah, that black ball.
It does. But I guess they all, their LCD starts fading out.
Can you fix that?
What?
Can you fix that?
I don't know.
Trying to get.
Like only if you see it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Ethan.
Hey, how you
Welcome.
doing? It's cool here.
Lots of video games.
Yeah.
Lots of old stuff.
Well done making that game. That's really cool.
Oh, I did not make that.
Oh, okay.
Someone else is making it and I'm publishing it.
Oh, I see.
I made this game that Tyler's putting.
Oh, sweet.
That one I did.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. I like the vertical spin.
It's actually meant to go on a handheld, so it should be on here. That Lynx handheld over there, sitting on the table.
Oh,
That's
I
what it's
see.
really designed for.
Okay.
But he's got it hooked up to a big screen adapter. So in fact, that's the same game. That's what I made.
So
Maybe that's gonna find my way out of here. Okay, this goes straight.
Oh, no, that's a different girl game.
Oh, it's a different.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Little tiny skinny cartridge.
Yeah.
And then Jaguar's like a big fat cartridge. So they're not really cross compatible.
Yeah, yeah.
All five you don't range.
Oh,
I've never got one of these things.
yeah, yep, cool, thank you.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
It's kind of cool. I just, oh man, I'm so close. I tried to touch the screen.
This one actually,
Just a reminder, we got the swap meet going on with a few people here, so if you want to check out any merchandise for sale, by the Jagfest banner and also on the center table. Now, if you have anything that you wanted to bring out for swap meet, that's for the next hour.
Yeah, this one. I just, I didn't put it out to my oh, yeah. And like middle school, Avery got me like this.
I shot 400 rounds of ammo, probably 15 missiles.
I had like a bunch of modulators on it, so I had like 20 like classics and so I was gonna try to do that up and like play it and like ride the bus or whatever. Like,
I'll put.
I'll pick the best. Or you pick the lowest.
You spent a lot of time.
I'm not attached.
That's actually to the stage. If I grew the
Just finished playing it.
So what happened is, just one of those extra games would go through and accidentally get loaded with like 400 rounds of ammo, 75 missiles. So the ray only got the greater one is the exit to the stage, brings up and killed all the targets. You know, and then we learned something new. So then they're talking about we know more about this game than like anybody. We are now our gurus. Yeah, you gotta have a certain password or something. You must show end credit. There you go. Yeah, to make sure you understand how to get
And then I like met I was like, oh, like I have that spare keyboard that I haven't used in forever that you can just tape. So I was like, oh, okay.
That's super cool.
So yeah, I've been trying to get back into that.
Yeah, piano is such a hard instrument for me.
Yeah.
It's like trying to memorize all of those chords and stuff is like crazy. And then like I can't get dexterity with like my left hand and my right hand.
Yeah. Because I played like a tiny bit like before like years ago, and I thought like I could just like that I would still like remember it, but like my fingers feel so. That's like useless.
Yeah, it's just like it's like hard to have muscle memory, but like basically all of it is just picking it up every single day.
Yeah.
Really every much.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. I have a keyboard too, but I just don't use it.
I thought about diving into that.
Now that I have a little more space, maybe I will. I know where to put it. That's why I did that one. So it's very much to get into that. I really want to Hey Tyler. Yeah, I tried playing it on the Link.
Well, yeah, because I pulled this almost already.
Yeah, that's the card that's actually playing. That card. You mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I mean, that's one of the huge steps in the game.
And then the power of having
like literally Rochester was so attached to like going like the ordinary and I think that's where Riley lives too. I've got pretty sure. I don't know, I haven't talked to him about it. I'm so bad at this game. No way.
In our neighborhood. You're watching the show. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still. Yeah. And is it like a cradle? Yeah. So that's pretty sweet. Like one of my best friends, Barry's, he lives in for a while.
It's just a dot name.
He just has like so much space.
Scans it in to like a 4K strong size.
You could really make it homey.
One physical like
It wouldn't be
No, that's not those
The guy who set that record emulators in here, he'll be pretty happy.
Somehow they get the bigger field and they can play an already inside of the hole.
I've always been so terrible at Space Invaders.
Actually lay flat. Yeah.
Basically, you had to respect something back with this is my childhood.
I think it's one of the first songs.
Is it okay for like
Oh, my dad had
having some, I remember
I think I missed it all up. Oh, here.
and it's a, the advertisement playing shot.
So last night, one of the
And with bonus, like, they gotta be like that.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was a huge job. And I haven't even like really
I think it doesn't probably.
Just take some practice to figure out how you can make that one by the cards and stuff. Because basically, you just go to one of those houses, you like say most of the time, and then you
These are the AS. Yeah.
That's a whole set.
Packs itself enough. Try it.
They're 128.
I like the hardware.
We're almost in those.
That's a cartridge, right? So you just plug it in the cartridge.
Yeah, that's kind of how I got it. There you go.
What's that?
Oh, really?
This should work.
Oh, yeah. That works. Maybe you're right.
Space sitting in his living room. Two TV in front of you.
You know, the Jaguar actually had that on his VR headset.
Really?
Yeah. So one game they showed was Missile Command 3D. You're playing Missile Command, but you're like in towers in a ring, and so you could look up and see the missiles. On the regular version, you're just playing on TV, so you can just make the TV